Podcast are the opinions and views of the host and the host alone. They are not a reflection of his employer or any other organization that the host is a member of. The host does not speak for anyone, only himself.
This is the I Am Pitts Podcast. Get ready for contact. Yeah, get some.
Any available unit. Copy on a shooting.
Oscar 37 en route.
What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Dex with the I Am Pitts Podcast, and I'm back again for yet another episode. And I know what you're thinking. Starting to get more consistent, man. This one got this one out, getting this one out a little quicker than I did. So, all right, man, I'm ready to get into it. And man, let me say this starting off. This is one thing I dislike about, I'm not gonna say America, but our media, I guess. Man, we just the news cycle and the media just moves way too fast, man. I mean, if the problem is, as soon as one thing happens, it's over and people move on so quick. And it's just like there's just no time to really digest anything that comes out, and everybody jumps to conclusions and everybody's got their opinions. Then all of a sudden we're done with that thing and we're on to the next issue. And nothing really gets solved, So we still have a whole bunch of stuff going on. And like I said, with my podcast, I'm not here to be right. I'm not I'm not here to be first. I'm here to be right. And I want to be as factual as possible because there's 1,000 other people out there, millions of other people out there, podcasts, faces you could listen to. And when you tune into the I Am Pitts Podcast, I want you to know that you're getting an honest and genuine response. I don't want to talk about something in the heat of the moment because we just don't know. Just like with this Alex Pretty shooting. Now we're a couple of, I think, a week or two past, and there's still stuff coming out and we still don't know. So why jump to conclusions without all the facts? And that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be as non-biased as possible and as honest and genuine as possible. And I know that's a lost art in America today. That is a lost art in our media. That's just a lost art in podcasting because everybody wants to be first. And it doesn't matter if they're right or wrong. They just want to be first. And I don't want to be first. I just want to be honest, genuine, and non-biased and correct as possible, which is not always, it's not always possible to get all the facts. But yet here we are. And, so as I'm trying to get into this episode, man. And I'm just like I said, I'm a weekly kind of show. And man, and I don't do this every day like some people, which I actually have a life. This is a hobby. I have fun with it. I love y'all, but this ain't my real life. This is just an hour or two a day and a little bit of editing, and I go on about my way, man. But let me tell you something, dude. Like I said, it just moves too fast. Like, so I woke up the other day, and it turns out that I saw Ilhan Omar was quote unquote attacked at a little thing she was doing, some event by some guy, and everybody's saying it's staged, and I'm looking like, you know what? I wouldn't put it past it to anybody that this event was possibly staged to make her look better, to make her look good, because I've seen stuff in politics I've questioned. There was a shooting here in Louisville many years ago when the now mayor was running, and the shooting, the guy came into the office and took shots at the mayor. I'm like, that and missed at point blank. I was like, that just seems a little too off, So for me, I don't have any proof or facts that this thing with Ilhan Omar is real or not. I don't. I'm going to go ahead and say it's staged just because I wouldn't put it past the Democrats to do that. That's not to say that there's not crazy people out there on the right who would not want to do something like that. They would love to. I mean, we have crazy people on the right as well. They seem to be more on the left side of things because that's not really a right side thing of, a conservative type thing. But there's crazy people all over the place in this country, So we have that going. And then I woke up today and see that Don Lemon was arrested for this church protest that they did, man. And like I'm gonna get in that a little bit later. And like I'm behind, but it's all good. It's all good because I got nothing but time. I'm still off from work in the ninth circle of hell, dealing with pain from my shoulder surgery. So, but yet I'm here. I'm doing my thing, man. And I appreciate you all for tuning in and coming back. Be sure to tell your friends and family about the show. YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you want to do that. And if not, I really don't care. I'm not trying to be that guy, man. I don't want to be that guy. I don't even know why I said that, honestly. All right, but let's get ready to get into it, man. And so this one's called Our Own Worst Enemy for a reason. That's because everyone, every organization, every profession, Every class of people, every race is their own worst enemy. Like me personally, the biggest thing I tell people is I'm all about personal responsibility and accountability. Man, I am people know me that know that I'm a type 2 diabetic. You know why? Because I am my own worst enemy. When I walk down the aisle and I see those gummy bears and those little Debbie snack cakes, they call out to me. They call my name. And you know what? I have nobody to blame but myself because that's what I'm drawn to. And I give in to those temptations and urges. And I know it's not good for my health, but yet I do it anyway. I can't blame little Debbie for making delicious snack cakes. I can't blame Haribo for making delicious gummy bears. At the end of the day, it's on me. And guess what? I am my own worst enemy because I succumb to my own urges all the time. And I do things that go against my own health and my own betterment. But like I said, that's because I can acknowledge that I am my own worst enemy at times. Black people, if you tuned into this show at any point in time, you know I've always got something to say about the Negro community. That's why a lot of people don't like me. And that's guess what? I don't care. You don't pay my bills, you don't give me what I need in the midnight hour. But guess what? I'm gonna tell it like it is. Black people, we are our own worst enemy. We really are. You know, pe- people have this preconceived notion with black people. And black people get upset when people hold them to account to by how they act and by the way the mannerisms and stuff, man. And so when black people go out and then get real wild and crazy and get stupid, get loud and ghetto, and then somebody calls it out and they get mad. But you know what? You can't be mad at people for holding you accountable to how you're acting. You're your own worst enemy. You are literally the reason why these stereotypes exist. And you're just proving people wrong. You can't be mad at people for calling out your stereotypes because you're verifying the stereotype. You're your own worst enemy, man. Law enforcement officers. We are our own worst enemy. And I'm saying that as a 17-year cop. Like I can say that about myself. I can say that about many things, but I can definitely say that about law enforcement. You know what? It's been rough being in law enforcement over the years because I do believe we have been unfairly and unjustly targeted by the media and politicians. We are low-hanging fruit. And I tell people that we are the most visible arm of government that you see every day. You see us out in our patrol cars, walking the beats. I mean, you're seeing it right now in the streets of Minnesota. You are seeing the executive branch in action. You see it on a lower level at your local and state government with your patrol officers. But it'd be different if you saw judges out on the corner, sentencing people, but that's not how it does. So, you look at officers as the evil in America because guess what? They're what you see first. You don't see the entire system. You just see us who are the gatekeepers to get people into this justice system. That's it. And because of that, man, everything we do is scrutinized, man. But we don't do ourselves any favors. And I want to show you all the video that I came across the other day. I'm sure you all seen it making the rounds on social media. But it is of ICE officers at this hotel. Freeze a little bit. And so we got these ICE officers in a hotel. Protesters are down there. And you see these guys, these officers looking, and they're like, oh my God. This guy starts mooning the crowd, then gives them the finger and walks away. Law enforcement, love y'all with a passion. I am you all. I am us. I am we. I am with you all. But we are our own worst enemy when we do crap like that. And shout out to my boy. He wrote out. I had to give him a shout out. I saw that video on his page and I ripped it from his page. So shout out to my dude. He wrote out. Make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. But man, dude, man, why do we do? And I understand you're upset and you're mad, man, but you can't let your feelings override your common sense. I mean, people are recording, man, and your homeboy saw what you was about to do, and they knew you, and they was like, man, let me get up out of here before he does something crazy. What does this guy do? He goes and moons the crowd. And then I seen Director Holman was on TV the other day saying that we need to be professional. These ICE officers, and they do. I like ICE. I think they're doing a great job, but listen, they could reel it in a little bit. You can tell they're a bit cowboyish, and I ain't gonna. I'm a little jealous. I wish I could be a bit cowboyish, but where I work at, shout out to Chief Wilkerson. He has one saying for us while we're there. When we work there, he's like, I have two things: do your job and be professional. That is my chief's biggest things to us. He don't care what happening. He don't care what's going on. All he matters is you do your job and be professional. And to those ICE officers, that was not professional, man. That was, I mean, like I said, I understand you're upset. I understand you're being pressed. Understand that you just want to let off a little aggression. But come on, bro. We cannot afford that in this day, especially you all. You all have eyes on you everywhere. And you think that that was the thing to do? Why not just stay in your room? Why even feed the crowd? And you know what you just did? You just gave them more ammo. But like I said, we're our own worst enemies. You know, protesters, y'all are your own worst enemies too. Like I've been around a long time and I've dealt with a lot of protesters. And I can say this one thing about protests. Yes, we have cops and law enforcement officers that are their own worst enemy and make some bad decisions. But I feel like, man, the level of stupidity with the average I'm not even gonna say average American citizen. I'm gonna say sub-average American citizens because the average person doesn't think like this or act like this. We are talking about not a minority, a group of people on the far left that are just totally unhinged, have Trump derangement syndrome, and they're just out of their minds. For example, you have every right to protest, but you have to protest peacefully, protesters. But when we run into issues when law enforcement comes on scene and then you start fighting against law enforcement. And then you do dumb stuff like this protester in this video. So apparently this young lady,
Oh my God.
look at her flopping around. Oh my God. Oh my
Oh my
God.
God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Boy, they acting like this is Call of Duty or something, bro. They acting like this is the legit battlefield. Get out of here, man. Y'all know nothing about going to war. But this stupid lady, whoever she is, God bless, man. Like she's probably too dumb to breathe. So I don't know how she's breathing, honestly. But these officers, whoever these guys were, they threw a flashbang at him. If you don't know what a flashbang is, it's a small device that when you throw it, it flashes, goes bang and flash. It's like a stun device. Well, she decided to pick it up and throw it back, but didn't realize, guess what? It had already been laying there for a while. And when she did, she blew a bunch of her fingers off. So you can be mad at ICE all you want, but ICE, who is doing their job legally and lawfully, you who is protesting unlawfully, you are your own worst enemy on that one. You can't blame the police for doing what police are supposed to do. You can't blame ICE for doing what ICE is supposed to do. That is all on you, man. And so you lost your fingers for what? For what exactly? You know, the Constitution, like I said earlier, the Constitution says you have a right to peacefully protest, but there was nothing you have done that is peaceful. Blocking traffic, making death threats to officers, physical assault is not peaceful. And the protests in general that we're seeing right now in America, I told you all last week, I've seen this before. I lived through it before. 2017, 2018, the anti-ICE protests then. It's not changed, but the protest doesn't make any sense. And this is why I say it does not make sense. One, we have laws in this country, right? If you come into my house uninvited and I walk into my house and I see you in my house, I'm probably going to beat you down. Then I'm going to boot you out my house, man. You can't be here. I did not invite you in. So if you go into a place you're not supposed to be, that you weren't invited into, that is a crime. It is the same thing here in America. When you come into America uninvited, unannounced, it is a crime. And guess what? That makes you a criminal, a person who commits a crime. It doesn't matter how big or small or little, it's still a crime. And so this whole what's the saying? There's no such thing as illegal people and stolen land. We have borders for a reason. You have a door in your house for a reason. If you don't believe that America has the right to exist and have borders, I'm not talking to you about these protests because we can't even have a basic dialogue based on the fact that, yes, America is a sovereign country and America has the right to say who can and cannot come in. We have nothing to talk about. You're on a whole different level. We are living in two different planes of existence and reality. There's nothing to talk about, man. There's nowhere to go because you aren't even a reasonable person. So yes, like I said, we have borders for a reason. If you want to come here, you have to knock on the door and get permission to come in. And so here's my whole thing about why this protest currently makes no sense to me, man. Obama, when he was in office, This man deported, I believe, over 3.1 million people in an 8 year period. That's a lot of freaking people, man. They called the Obama the deporter in chief. There are videos of Obama online talking about immigration and how we have to do better. This man sent everybody home packing. Your mamas, your daddies, your granddaddies, and everybody, man. Nobody was safe from Obama. Not even to mention the drone striking and killing of American citizens on foreign land. Nobody said a word though. When Obama doing it, it was cool. There was cooperation. Nobody said a word. There was no pushback. But all of a sudden, when Trump comes into office, and now he wants to get clean out America because the last administration left the floodgates open. And guess what? Everybody came into America that shouldn't have been here. And we were just whisking them in and guiding them in, giving them all our tax dollars and money. And guess what happened? Chaos ensued. We have Americans getting killed by illegal aliens. These protesters can tell you the name of all these illegals, but they can't tell you the names of these young American men and women that have been killed, violently assaulted, raped, and killed in car accidents by drunk aliens. But they can't tell you those people names, but they know all these quote unquote peaceful illegals. No, I don't think so. And so my problem is, man, consistency is everything to me. If you were upset about Trump deporting people, were you not upset and protesting and giving the same energy when Obama was doing it? And you know what? I'm not going to ask that question in person because you won't be able to give me an answer. All you're going to say is Orange Man bad. And like I said, we can't have an honest dialogue because you aren't capable of doing so. You are just coming from a place of pure emotion. That's it, pure emotion. And so with everything just getting so riled up, like I said, I've been on social media. Like I said, man, I get on periodically, hop on X, man, and I hop on X and I just look at what's going on and I check out a few comments and I got to log off, dude, because I told you all that. Watching a lot of these videos and seeing a lot of this protest stuff, it stirs up a lot in me, man. It brings up a lot of old emotions and memories for me from 2020, man. And when I was in the midst of 2020, I was all in. I was loving it. I was digging it. I'm crazy like that, man. I'm gonna do an episode on why I've been a cop for 17 years and in patrol because I'm the guy. I like being on the front. I like being on the edge of stuff. I like being out in the mix. I like the danger aspect, and I did in 2020. But after a while, living that sort of lifestyle catches up to you, and man. And so I'm seeing all these videos of stuff going on, and I'll be honest, I ain't been sleeping great. You know, I already have nightmares from Iraq, but now you could tack on top of that 2020. I have nightmares from 2020. So much stuff, man. And then, so when I saw the video of the shooting with Alex Pretty, the guy that was shot and killed by Border Patrol, not ICE, we'll get into that a little bit. But when I saw that video, it reminded me of an incident that I had in 2020. It was on, I believe, September 21st, I believe, 2021. And it was wait, what was it? 20? I can't remember. It's been so long, but yeah, but it was during the Breonna Taylor verdict. So I believe it was 2020, September 21. We got into this giant kerfuffle, this giant brawl. We called the Battle of Bardstown on Louisville Metro Police Department, man, with protesters. And I'm sitting here with the guy on the ground that I took to the ground. He's not giving me his hands, and he's armed with the firearm. And so I want to play for you all that video just to give you an idea, because a lot of people are giving an opinion on this Alex Pretty shooting. And a lot of people are having an opinion and they've never been in a fight, never been in the military. They've never done anything. All they've done is just sit at home, eat their bonbons and ho-hos, and and that's it, and drink their diet soda. And I tell people all the time, if you've not been in a fight in your life, I don't want to hear your opinion. If you're not law enforcement, I don't want your opinion. You making an emotional statement because you've seen a guy get shot on video, understand it's traumatic to watch, but let's be real. It's, of course, you're going to have an emotional response to it, but I want to talk to people that can step back and look at the whole thing and be honest with guys that have been in the line of fire. So yeah, if you're on the left and you've been in the police and military, I will listen to you because I know what it's like. You're about to see a video of me in a similar situation, but it turned out different. And that's because I think my training I got's a bit better. But at the same time, there's a whole I could do what if it all day. But I just thank God I didn't have to do what the agent did that shot Alex Pretty guy. So I'm going to add it to the stage. Wrong video. Pardon me, y'all. Still learning. All right. So like I said, this is in Bardstown, road unprofessional. That's me on top of the suspect. Give me your hand. You can hear me screaming.
I'm trying to do something. Get up there. You're on me. He's on his neck.
Then you hear me yelling gun. I see he's got a gun. I'm yelling gun over and over and over. Let my partners know.
I'm not.
He will not let go of the gun.
Give me your hand. Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
Give him your hand.
I got it.
Give him your hand.
I got it.
Man's trying to kill you. Do you understand me?
Yes.
Just relax.
All right, man. That's still watching that still, like this is what 20. It's like 4 or 5 years later. Still gives me chills, dude. Still, I can still feel it emotionally and physically watching that video, man. But yeah, like I said, man, the guy, he came to the protest with the intent of fighting. Man, I wish I would have uploaded. There's a video we have of me and my partner tackling him, and you can see the gun on him at that point in time. Now, I didn't see the gun on him at that point in time when I was tackling him. You know, I'm tunnel visioned out. I mean, man, we're in this giant brawl, man, and then I get this guy on the ground, and he's resisting and fighting, and then he gets his hand under himself, and at that point, I'm like, oh hell no, I don't know what he's reaching for. So what I did, bro, I beat this dude's face in the hamburger meat, and I'll be honest, I did not put that picture up because I don't want people to judge me and say, oh man, you didn't have to do that guy like that, man. I turned his face to hamburger meat, man, because I couldn't get his hand out in control. We had decent control of him, but that hand, I didn't know what he was reaching for. And then after a certain point of me beating his face in, and this guy decides that I'm going to let go of this weapon. And then I look and I see gun. And that's when I start yelling, you hear me in the video, gun, 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 letting my partners know I have a gun. There's a gun involved here. There's a gun at play. And man, so we were able to get the gun off, and I got my knife out. He had it, like the way he had it was weird. It was like completely not safe. He had like a flex cuff to his jeans, the little loop on his jeans. But then he also had it looped to the pistol, to the trigger guard. And I'm like, bro, this is absolutely unsafe. You could mess around and shoot yourself out and blow your dick off. And I was just sitting there like, man, this stuff. And this guy came for trouble. We ended up arresting him. Man, he took a felony charge, man. So we I think I mentioned it on the show, but I saw him at a club working in Louisville, and he walked up, hey, yo, what's up, bro? And I was like, Negro, don't come at me talking about some what's up. You know who I am. You know what I did to you. You're welcome for your felony, homie. But man, I can give my opinion on the Alex Pretty shooting because I've been in a similar situation. And I feel like I can be non-biased against the police or Pretty. And so the first thing I want to say about the shooting is, here's another reason why I don't want to talk to people about it, and I have not posted anything about it, because most of you all are not educated on the difference between ICE and Border Patrol or Customs. The average person doesn't know that. They just see every agent in Minnesota as ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. And because you don't know the difference, I'm not going to have a conversation with you because you don't know. And I can tell you this, I was a Border Patrol agent for a short amount of time. So I know more about the Border Patrol and what they do than the average person. So yes, like I said, that's the biggest thing that people need to get clear right now. It was not ICE. It was Border Patrol operating in support of ICE and their mission, which they pretty much have the same mission. Border Patrol, they work between the ports. We catch people sneaking into the country. You have the customs people that work at the ports, catching people try to sneak into the country at the ports. But then you have ICE, who works in the interior of the country. They're catching people that have been here illegally and getting them booted out. But like I said, I'm not here to educate you all. Like I said, if you don't know that, that's on you. You got a little education, is what it is. But man, when people have asked me, is the shooting justified? I'll be honest, man. I can't make head or tails of it. And it's too soon to jump to conclusions. I mean, even with the recent video that just surfaced, I learned of it yesterday, of Alex Pretty getting into it with Customs. I don't know what he was getting into it with a couple weeks ago. I have no clue. But they were just masked agents. But he's spitting at them, yelling at them, kicking at them, kicked their car, kicked the light off one of their cars. The man's an agitator. The dude's not a good dude. And I'm saying that because either I don't know him personally. A good and reasonable person is not going to go out and jump in to a fray and defend illegal aliens that are wanted for like sex crimes and murder and all types of crap, man. But a good and reasonable person is not going to go out and attack federal agents doing a lawful job. And so right there for me, that's a strike against him. And so I can say that, yeah, that's definitely what he was doing. He was not there for peaceful purposes. Like I said, if you want to protest peacefully on the sidewalk, Alex, you could have gone out there, been on the sidewalk, yelled, screamed, but kept your distance. But you did a couple weeks ago did not do that. And apparently he suffered a broken rib while he had contact with these agents a couple weeks ago. But like I said, jump to the video that actually surfaced of him being shot and killed. I can't make sense of it. I don't know what sparked it. I really don't know what was the trigger point. But I can't make sense of anything that's going on. And the problem is we have so many people putting out, their takes on it and doing video slow-mos, and it's just too much, man, too much. So me personally, but I am waiting for the actual investigation to come out before I say, he was right or justly shot or not. I it's hard to say because I don't know what the officers were seeing from their point of view. I don't know what they perceived as a threat at that point of view. And I want to also make this point, but people are using that video from a few weeks ago to say that, to justify him being shot and killed. And the truth is, here's what we have to look at. Were those the same officers or agents that were involved with him a few weeks ago are those the same ones that shot him recently and killed him? I don't know that. We don't know that. Nobody knows that. If these officers, if it's the same officers and they could articulate, yeah, man, I remember this guy. This was the same dude from a few weeks ago who spat on me, cursed me out, kicked my car, kicked the light out of my car. That might play a little difference into it. It might help a little bit, but not 100%, man. Because here's what we have to look at. Like I said, we have the First Amendment rights in America. You have the right to protest. And I could say that he had a lawful right to be there. And he had a lawful right to carry a firearm so long as he's not a convicted felon or he doesn't have any domestic violence charges against him. So like I say, I don't know that. I don't know anything about this man. I know he has an ex-wife and he worked at the VA. So that's all I know. I don't know anything else about that. And so I've heard President Trump and Kash Patel say, what's the old saying? You could protest, but you shouldn't bring a gun to a protest. While I agree at a level of, yes, is it smart to take a gun to a protest that's already pretty high intense? Probably not the best ideal, but not illegal. Y'all have heard me say it on the show before. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's right and necessary. You can, if you want to, exercise your Second Amendment right. I dealt with it in 2020. I told you on the last show. I was charged by people holding rifles while I was trying to make an arrest. Guess what? Those people are not dead because they kept their rifles at the low ready. They didn't point the rifle at me. I didn't feel that they were a threat. That's how I was at that point in time, man. Like with the guy on the ground. We had such good control of that dude. But I knew that he can't get his hand out from under him to get on this gun and shoot me. Could I have pulled my pistol out, my sidearm, and put it to his dome and screwed one to his dome? Absolutely could have, and would have been more than justified. But just because I know I can do something, I'm able to think through stuff and process pretty quick in this line of work because I've been doing it so long. Man, I knew that, it's probably not the best ideal to do that. With the cameras around me, people watching. I mean, and then I just point blank shoot this dude in the head. Yeah, I absolutely could have done it, been justified, man. But I didn't want that smoke, and I knew that I could get this under control before having it result to deadly force. So like I said, that's just me. I know my level of training. I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I'm comfortable with doing. But I can't sit here and look at these agents and say they were wrong. I just can't because I don't know these agents. I ain't never worked with them. You know what? And I don't know their intent. I don't know Alex Pretty's intent. Nobody knows his intent. I do not like the fact that the Trump administration said that he's a domestic terrorist and that he went there to kill agents. That to me is an overstep and wrong because we don't know that man's intent. Just because he's carrying a firearm does not mean that he's there to kill you, yo. Like I said, not smart. Personally, if I know there's a bunch of angry agents that's been getting spit on, pissed on and no bottles thrown at them, not sleeping, people hounding them and their families. Yeah, I'm gonna be like, yo, bro, I'm gonna go to this protest, but I'm not bringing a weapon. I'm not gonna give these fools a reason to smoke me. I'm not giving anybody a reason to kill me because they perceive me as a threat. Like I said, it's what these agents perceive as a threat. And like I said, we don't know what these guys perceive. And as I said, like I said, we don't know his intent. I don't agree with how DHS has addressed him and called him a domestic terrorist. And like I said, that seems a bit much. But I will say this whole event could have been avoided if he would have decided not to be his own worst enemy that day. He could have gone to that protest, blew his whistle on the sidewalk, got to the edge of the sidewalk and yelled at him and cursed at him and been just fine. But he decided to make physical contact with these guys. And like I said, I still don't know what sparked the incident for the shooting. I just saw him and a lady. I don't know what happened. I heard somebody say that he had a warrant out for. I don't know. Maybe. And I think we would all be better off if we all said, you know what? I don't know. Instead of jumping to conclusions so fast in order to be right, when it's hard to even know what's real and what's not. I mean, there's even a video circulating, an AI video of him getting shot, and the agent's like got his gun out and the other agent's on a knee and the dude's head's missing. And people are actually using this as an actual picture to justify or to show that the shooting was illegal. And I'm like, this isn't even a real picture. Man, it's scary times we're living in where AI is to that point, but people can see that the picture's altered and then the dude's head's missing. But people are still using this as something valuable to justify their point in their argument, which is absolutely bizarre to me, man. I don't get it. But like I said, that's just the day and time we're living in. Everybody's rushing to get the first take. Everybody's rushing to get the first word. And I want to, when you listen to my show, I want you to be like, yeah, you know what? Dex said he didn't know. And I'm standing on that. And when the full investigation comes out, I will make a full determination. Hopefully there's some body camera video. That would help me a lot. Like I said, I want to know what led up to the event. And that would change my mind a lot because I can't go off of what happened to this guy with agents from 2 weeks ago at the start of the month. That does not justify anything. So people on the right, please stop saying that using that video. Yes, yeah. It does good to show that, he wasn't a great dude. It goes to show that, he was there to start trouble. But it does not go to show that he was there to kill those guys. It just doesn't. It doesn't do that. So this whole shooting, anyway, this is what I tell people where I will give the agents involved the benefit of a doubt. Because these were Border Patrol agents, I was told, involved in the shooting. And as I told you all, I was a Border Patrol agent. Shout out to Class 1110. Yeah, so, man, I took a pause real quick. I want to show you all my Border Patrol class shirt, baby. Homie. Probably the worst logo or saying for any Border Patrol class. So this is our shirt. Handcrafted Border Patrol agents, Class 1110. Right there. Artesia, New Mexico, established 2016 or 2019. Hard to believe it's been that long, man. And this was our class logo on the back and our saying. It's cheesy as ever, bro. I apologize. It's horrible. We were under so much stress and pressure. And of course, the one other black guy in my class came up with this. Down to enforce, down to defend. We are Class 1110. Oh boy, what a horrible, cheesy saying, dude. But like I say, I have actual experience as a Border Patrol agent. I did a whole show on my time in the Border Patrol, and it's got like 12,000 views on YouTube, man. But this is one I want to say. I heard the other day that the agents have been placed on administrative leave, which is normal and typical when anybody in law enforcement is involved in a shooting. You go on administrative leave for the investigation. And like I said earlier, people don't know the difference between Border Patrol and ICE and all that. So, we won't need to cover that again. But dude, this is what I can tell you and why I give these agents involved in the shooting the benefit of a doubt. The Border Patrol has some of the best trained people, law enforcement officers on earth. And I'm not just saying that to say that. I'm saying that as a man that has been through, Army infantry boot camp. I've been through, Louisville Metro Police Department Academy. And that was it was like 32 weeks of ridiculous training. I mean, it was good. It was intense. But man, when I tell you that The United States Border Patrol Academy was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. That when I tell you that, I'd rather go back to Army infantry basic training than go back to Border Patrol Academy because it was so hard and so intense. And not just from a physical standpoint, but from an intellectual standpoint, where you had to know law, bro. I mean, they drilled us on everything law, use of force, man. I mean, man, our use of force in the Border Patrol was every quarter, like every 3 months, we had to do use of force training. Man, and I am not joking when I say that. Like, man, we do shooting wise, the United States Border Patrol, I believe, wins the national shooting competition every year. And I'm saying this as a guy that's done a lot of shooting. But when I was in the Border Patrol Academy going through their shooting and training, where I was nervous to sweat because their standards were high, man. I mean, they are so well trained, and the training is so meticulous and just so detailed, man. Like, man, like I said, I don't know what the agent's train of thought was, but just going off of my experience alone, based on my training and expertise, what I experienced in the Border Patrol, I believe these guys are going to be found justified just because of their training alone, man. Like I said, these are Border Patrol agents, not ICE agents. I don't know what ICE training goes through, but I know what Border Patrol goes through. And I can tell you, Border Patrol does not mess around. Them boys are not playing. They call the Border Patrol Academy the Marine Corps of FLETC for a reason. It's tough. It is a miserable 6-month existence. And you better raise to the standard and to the occasion, or you better get out the door, bro. They ain't got no room for weakness. Zero. We don't have room for stupidity. And that's not to say that everybody that's a Border Patrol agent is the best ever. I've met some crappy agents. I've met some corrupt agents, man. Well, I ain't gonna say met. I've worked at a station where a guy was corrupt. And I remember it was like my first day or first week there. They brought in this giant box and they're like, hey, this is a whatchamacallit stuff. And I'm like, who's that? Oh, he's the guy that got caught working for the cartel. And they just gave us all his gear. And I was like, man, I don't want none of this stuff. All this stuff is tainted and bad luck, bro. I'm good, man. I will pass. So I say I give these guys the benefit of the doubt because they're my fellow Border Patrol agents. And I know the training that they go through. I know how hard the training and meticulous it is. So I give the agents involved the benefit of the doubt until otherwise. And unless you yourself can join the Border Patrol, get hired, and make it through the academy, I don't want to hear a word about what you think about these agents involved in the shooting. Like I said, I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't have all the facts. But for now, I stand by it being justified. It's ugly. It didn't look great. But hey, like I said, that could change. But that's just my opinion going forward, man. And so, the whole thing with protesting, I'm going to say this and it's going to sound bad because it's going to sound very it's going to sound anti-constitution, which I am not. I am all for the First Amendment protesting, but I do not like these people, man. Bro, I just do not. I don't have a problem with them protesting, but it's the way they protest. It's the disrespect. And I understand that it is perfectly legal to come up to an officer, throw your middle finger up to him, tell him to go F himself, and to tell him to just say all these mean, nasty, horrible things that you would never say to me one-on-one, bro. You would not say that to me one-on-one outside of my uniform, bro. I would eat you alive. And the only reason I don't do that is because I have that badge on my chest. And I am able to remove myself from the situation and be neutral. And I understand that I have to be your punching bag to a degree. Like that, I'm not saying I can't get mad, but I can't react when you come up to me and you start saying these things. I can't because that is your constitutional right. There's nothing in the Constitution that says anything about respect. There's nothing in the Constitution that says anything about civility. It just says the right to peacefully protest. Like I said, they got the protest part right, but peacefully, they definitely do not get that right. But man, there's a guy that just got arrested the other day. He got arrested with Don Lemon, and I don't even really want to say his name just because it just makes my blood boil looking at him. And then the video I'm about to play for you all of him, man, like it does something to me, and it just really pisses me off because one, he claims to be a veteran and checks out that he's definitely a veteran, but not a good one. And man, I just don't see how you comfortably use your First Amendment right to talk to people like a dog and just be so mean, nasty, and disrespectful. Like I said, I go by the whole just because you can doesn't mean that you should. I just live by that. Like, man, yes, as an officer and a man of God, if somebody comes up to me and says something mean and nasty, my initial reaction is I want to do something mean and nasty to you back. But I bite my tongue because of who I represent, the man upstairs, the veteran community, and my church and my family. So those four things, those are the four things you need to thank God for that I have that keep me controlled. Because if not, I'd be your worst enemy every day. Like I said, like people come and talk crap to law enforcement and soldiers because they know it's safe, because they know we can't react in the way we want to react. They know it's a safe bet that you can get in my face and these soldiers and officers' faces and do and say all these things. And you know what? They're not going to say anything to me because they can't, because their hands are tied behind their back by command of the Constitution. And I feel like if you take advantage of that, I feel like you're a scumbag and you're not a good person. You're not a serious person. So here is Mr. Kelly. Go ahead and play this video for you all. And I just want you to listen. Just listen to the way he talks to people.
Fucking deployed. Oh, you've never deployed. So you're a staff sergeant, never deployed, who is now violating the Constitution.
Excuse us.
What's your deal? You don't believe in the Constitution? Is that what it is?
How much you get paid for this?
I don't get paid at all. I'm a volunteer. I do this for love of the Republic. Unlike you. You come from some fucking state far away to come fucking betray your oath to the Constitution. It's funny to you, motherfucker? You piece of fucking shit. Never did a damn thing for this country, but you wear that uniform with...
Oh boy, like just listening to that just makes my blood boil. Oh boy. Whew, Lord have mercy. Let me come.
Right. What's up, bitch? What's up?
Hi, how's it going?
What you got to say, motherfucker?
Like just the language, and like he talks crazy like that because he knows that he can, and because he knows he could get away with it.
What you got to say, you punk ass bitch?
You're harassing our
Fuck
soldiers
off.
afternoon.
I'm a combat infantry veteran. These fuckers ain't done shit. Yeah.
All right, so I need to address that real quick. He says that he's a combat infantry veteran. Well, guess what? He absolutely is not. He is a veteran, but is a dishonorably discharged veteran. Apparently, from what I've seen, he served from 2007 to 2011 in the United States Army as a 42 Alpha. If you don't know what that is, he was an admin specialist. Part of my language, he was a paper bitch. And yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that. I know. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get better with the curse. That was my first instinct, man. My bad. I can't think of somebody better that qualifies for that, though. Yeah. So, and also, he never deployed. So, yeah, he's a liar. He's an absolute liar.
30 fucking years.
So what? Yo, so you don't believe in the Constitution either, asshole?
That's exactly why they're out.
You're
Exactly
so
why you're out
fucking
there doing what
stupid.
you're doing.
You don't know nothing
Thank you,
about the
General.
Constitution.
Oh boy. And just based off of the fact that this guy, you know, he's not a good person because of one, just how he's talking to people. The golden rule: do unto others as you want them to do unto you. But like I said, they take advantage of officers and soldiers in these situations because they know that they can't do anything about it. And if you ask me, that's the biggest punk move you could ever do. And I have zero respect for somebody like that. And you know he's not a good person because he lied about his military service. He lied. You said you were a combat infantry veteran. You are absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm a combat infantry veteran. I got the papers to prove it, the DD-214. I don't need to lie about my service, but you do for some odd reason. And just the fact that you are willing to lie about your service says that you're willing to lie about anything to get clicks and views. You are not a protester. This guy is an agitator. There's a difference between protesting and agitating. What is going on in Minnesota is not protesting. It is agitating. You are trying to elicit a response from these federal agents and these soldiers just so that you can get a lawsuit, just so for the publicity, so that they can look bad and you can look good and you can look like a hero. But that's why I tell people, man, the hardest thing I had to do during 2020 was bite my tongue because I knew what was at stake. And I didn't always get it right, man. I didn't. Man, if I knew my camera was off and somebody said something to me, Sly, bro, I go ahead and cut them down with a joke or something real quick. They be, what you say to me? Say it again to the camera. And I just be like, nope, I don't know what you're talking about, man. What? I would never say anything like that. What? You're making that up. Do you have it on camera? Is it caught? My camera's not on. You came up talking to me. And that's how that kind of went, man. So yeah, I didn't always get it right. But man, I'm only human. But man, you can only take so much at a certain point. And boy, oh boy, boy, I gave it to people that, and people like him just, oh my Lord, like it just makes my blood boil. And like, how can you as a vet who swore an oath to protect and defend the U.S. Constitution, violate other Americans' rights to peacefully protest and assemble at a church to worship their God, to worship Jesus Christ? Like it's that I can't make sense of. That's why I say the protest makes no sense. That yeah. You want your First Amendment rights to be protected and upheld, and you want to use them without somebody saying anything to you, but you use your First Amendment rights to go suppress other people's First Amendment rights in a church. That's why you got arrested. That's why Don Lemon got arrested. And I already know what they're going to say. You can't arrest Don Lemon. He's just a reporter using his First Amendment rights. No, he was not there to report on this thing. This dude was there to agitate. And now he's hiding behind his title as a quote unquote reporter and hiding behind the First Amendment to do so, to be a douchebag. And that's not going to fly. And I pray to God that he does get some sort of justice. We cannot allow stuff like this to continue to happen in America. Like I said, I am all for the Constitution. The Constitution is my life. I carry an actual pocket-sized Constitution on me when I patrol, but people try to take advantage of our founding documents, and people use it for evil purposes, and they really do. And this just shows you that. I don't have to convince you of that. You can watch the videos. People in the streets fighting, spitting on officers and agents and soldiers. I don't have to convince you of that, but they're going to try to convince you that this whole thing is happening because ICE is there illegally. Then we have other people hopping up on social media like Ricky Smiley and all these other guys saying that, like they're about to take black people back. They're going to start deporting black people. And I'm just sitting here like, who is seriously listening to this and taking this serious and thinking that the Trump administration is going to deport black U.S. citizens? Like, how does that work? I don't know. But in some people's mind, this is legit and this is real. They did the same thing before the last election. Hey, black folks, they're going to take y'all into slavery, bro. You better vote for it. You better vote for Biden. You better vote for Harris. They're going to send us back into slavery, man. You're going to slavery, boss. He ain't going into slavery. I'm not going to say it's not possible, but it's a 99.9% chance that is not going to happen. What it would take to repeal the 13th Amendment and all that crap to get us back into slavery is not going to happen. But some people, like I said, some people have an opinion and they're uneducated and they're just speaking straight from emotions with zero logic and zero facts. And these protesters are the same type of people. This William Kelly dude, the millennial farmer. I'm glad he got locked up. I hope he stays locked up. But I know that, he's not going to stay locked up. And it's boy, just like, it makes my blood boil. Makes my blood boil. And it makes my blood boil for the simple reason that I hold veterans to a higher standard. It's the same with black people. Because I am you, I hold us to a higher standard of expectation than I do everybody else. Same with police officers, law enforcement. Guess what? I hold us to a higher standard because I am you. The same with the veteran community. I hold us to a higher standard because I know how we were trained and I know what is expected of us. You know what's expected of us. People are watching us. And so for me, it means something when I say I'm a veteran. When I hear somebody say they're a veteran, I expect you to, live out those same values, even though you're a civilian, the same values that the military taught you. I don't care if you served a year or 20, 30 years, but I feel like those values should carry you throughout your entire life. But unfortunately, that does not always happen. And I'll be honest, the veteran community has been doing itself a great disservice. And I feel like the American public has start slowly, not everybody, I'll be honest, not everybody, but I'm definitely seeing more and more upheaval and negativity towards the veteran community because of certain veterans. Not every veteran, not all veterans, but some. And I'll tell you what, I said, we are our own worst enemy, especially when it comes to being on social media. And man, and the biggest thing that I've noticed recently and lately is that it has been centered around, drum roll, VA disability compensation. So for those of you the civilian that are civilians don't know what VA disability compensation is. So say you sign up for the Army, you go do your enlistment. During your enlistment, you jump out of a plane and you tear your knee up. Well, you get that documented. Well, when you get out of the military, you go to the VA and you file for disability compensation. And there's a chart from 0 to 100%, and it pays you for the injuries that you occurred, and you get a check for the rest of your life for that. And you get all these other benefits, right? Well, we have this is the difference between my generation and the newer generation. When I got out of the military, I'll say it, I've said it before. I got out, put out at 80% disability rating. I got blown up. I've had a bunch of surgeries. I almost died. I don't have full use of my left arm. I mean, I can go down the list: migraines, pseudofolliculitis, that's the hair bumps. I mean, I got a list of stuff that is wrong with me. My wife can tell you that there's a lot wrong with me. My counselors can tell you there's a lot wrong with me, yo. But I'm tore up from the floor up, man. Like, I have all sorts of problems. And because of that, I feel like my lifespan and my quality of life is a lot less than what it should be. Like I told you at the beginning of the show, I am still recovering from my 20th surgery. I am 41, soon to be 42. There's no reason that a 41, soon to be 42-year-old man should have already had 20 surgeries in his lifetime. But because I raised my hand to fight for and defend America and the Constitution and got blown up for my deeds, I get compensated for that. And yes, now, a couple years ago, I reapplied for the VA disability and I got put up to 100% permanent and total. I don't have a problem telling people that because I know what I've done. People know what I've done. People know my history. People I work with see my issues and problems. And how can you work at 100%? The VA says that I can work and be 100%. And this is the biggest problem. Civilians do not understand VA disability compensation. All they hear is VA disability. This is not civilian Social Security disability that says that you can't work at all. I feel like we need to change it from VA disability to just VA compensation, because it's not a disability payment, but you are being paid and compensated for the damage done to your body. And like I said, I have had a lot of damage done to my body. So I am at a higher rating than most. I got buddies that are 100%, and they have like what's called special monthly compensation, which is more money on top of that. I know dudes probably getting like 7, 8, 9, 10 grand. But guess what? You could not pay me to exchange lives with them, because I see what they go through, and there's no way. I go through a lot. But bro, I tell you what, man, I got all my limbs. They might not function as great as they used to be. There might be a lot more pain in my body now, but I would not change what I have in order to have more money from the VA. I'm just not doing it, man. I like my quality of life. I like the fact that I can get out of bed and walk in the morning. Yeah, it does sound like a Japanese firework factory in the morning after somebody on their smoke break lit one. When I get up, the snap, crackling, and popping on my joints, and my wife is like, "That's your knees?" Like, yeah, of course. What else would it be? Like the aches and pains and daily headaches. And I mean, God, there's so much wrong, man. So much wrong, yo. But like, I would give that money up. I ain't gonna lie, I really would, to be fully healthy as a regular, normal 41-year-old man. I really would. I mean, I wish I had full use of my left arm. Like I said, this is all I got. Like I tell people, that's unfortunately, look at the size difference, bro. Look at the size difference, man. It's ridiculous. I look ridiculous because, like I said, I got messed up during my service, and because of that, I get a check. And unfortunately, veterans are our own worst enemies when it comes to VA disability compensation. Like, we go out and we brag about it. I don't brag about it. If people ask me or I'm engaged in a conversation, I will say something, and I will say, you don't have to disclose anybody your business with your disability rating, your disability rating. I don't have a problem with people talking about it, but I do have a problem with veterans bragging about it. And I feel like that social media and veterans, especially TikTok, with the 100% disabled veterans on TikTok, man, it does something to me. And it really pisses me off. I'm not going to lie. It's not that it's illegal. It's not that it's wrong. It's just in bad taste. You know what I'm saying? It's just in bad taste. And I have a video that I want you all to see that I saw a couple months ago. And it lit a fire under me. I left a comment under this chick's page, and Yo, so I just couldn't let it go, man. So I'm gonna show you the video real quick. 1 second. So I have the video pulled up, and I think I'm gonna put this full screen. Listen.
I'm riding around the parking lot trying to look for parking, and I forgot I have the handicap plates now. This is what rich is, okay? I don't care about no money. This is rich. All things are aligning in my life.
Bro, man. Woosah. Let me rub my temples, bro. To me, that's like that type of stuff right there. It is the stuff like that I've come across on social media that makes me cringe, that makes me dislike certain people in the veteran community. And I got a TikTok I did on this, y'all. I might try to link it, but man, I did a whole TikTok on this that I don't get to say who does and who does not deserve 100%. It's not my job to judge, but when you make content like that and you are driving around smiling, laughing, and joking about having handicap plates because you are now a quote unquote 100% disabled veteran. Yeah, I don't know your military history. I don't know what you've done. I can't judge you because I don't know, but I'm making an assumption. Like I said, it's just in bad taste and it looks horrible for the veteran community as a whole. Like, why would you do that? Do you want attention that bad? Do you want negative attention that bad? Like, this is nothing to joke about. Man, like I wake up in pain every morning. If I get to live past 55, 60, into my 60s, I'm going to be happy because I know the chances are probably not good with all the ailments I got, man. And here you are driving around in your car, laughing and joking about having handicap plates. You know, I got many friends missing limbs. Now, I'll be honest, they laugh and make jokes about missing the limbs because we have dark humor. But we don't laugh and laugh and make jokes about it because they played the system and they got over. No. They earned that 100% fair and square tenfold, yo. So like I say, I don't know anything about that woman, but just from a character standpoint, it's just ugly, man. Like, why would you do that? And people were arguing with me under my TikTok of like, what does it matter? It doesn't matter. It's her, she does her. You can do as you wish. Yes, you can do as you wish. But just know that stuff like this is going to ruin it for guys and gals, veterans in the future. It's just a bad look, yo. And then it's because of stuff like that why we recently have had people, celebrities coming forth talking about veterans and how they are defrauding the VA system, saying that they don't deserve this. They don't deserve this. And one of the worst people at it we have right now is Caleb Hammer. And now I will say, I don't have a problem with Caleb Hammer. I like his content in the show. You know, it's a little much for me sometimes, man. But, man, the way he reacts anytime there's a veteran on and they say they have VA disability. And I don't blame them sometimes because, like I say, we're our own worst enemy. And the way we say it and come off, it looks bad. Here's a clip, for example. All right, let me pull that up.
What do you make?
About $22.40 on VA disability a month.
There is not literally one single person that has served in the military in the history of 3 years of the show that does not get VA disability for the rest of their life forever.
Yeah, so anything that happens to you while you're serving, you can claim as a service-connected disability.
Right.
As long as you can prove that it happened to you during time in service.
And now you have this for life.
Yep.
So what was your service?
Army, 4 years.
Man, so first thing first, Hammer, shut your fat butt up because you know what? The recruiting station was open to everybody. If you wanted to go and serve, you could have, but you chose not to. You probably didn't qualify to serve. You definitely wouldn't have passed the entry PT test from what it looks like. So but I don't want to hear a civilian say anything about what a veteran does and does not deserve when only 1% of the less than 1% of the population serves in today's military, which is an all volunteer service. So hats off to anybody that goes down to the recruiting station and signs their name on the dotted line. I don't care if you're signing to be a cook, pack parachutes, to shine boots. I don't care if you're signing up to be a Navy SEAL, Special Forces. Just signing the dotted line, period, is a respectable thing. I respect you for doing that. Even if your intentions for joining are selfish, you still sign on that dotted line knowing, you know what? I could get killed. I could be sent to war. I could become paralyzed or lose my legs in the next couple of weeks because I'm going to be sent to do something in some sort of conflict. So I respect all those who go and sign up for service. And I truly do believe, that, you know what, because you serve, if you use your body for the government and the government destroys your body, you should absolutely be compensated for it. And the resentment that I hear in civilians' voices sometimes, like Caleb Hammers, and you get this for the rest of your life. Well, let me ask you, am I going to have these bad dreams the rest of my life? Absolutely. Am I going to have anxiety the rest of my life and take my propanolol? Absolutely. Can I reverse the damage to my knees? No. My knees are only going to get worse. Can I reverse the damage to my back, my lumbar, my degenerative disc disease? No. Can I reverse the injuries to my left arm? No. Your injuries as you get older don't get better. Things get progressively worse. The best you can do is slow it down. And all the VA does is compensate you at a rate from 0 to 100%. And there is nothing wrong with that at all. And like I said, man, civilians in their disgust for veterans, like I said, I understand where it's coming from because we have, like the young girl of the video I showed you all, her bragging about being 100% and having disabled tags. Like that's to me, that's crazy work, man. It's just low class, low ball, and just ugly for the community. But like I said, I can call you out because I am you. I am a veteran. I'm going to call you out. Civilians, shut your butts up. You can't say a word to anybody because you never got off the couch. You never signed up and wore the uniform. So you can't hold nobody accountable. I know what you're saying. It's going to my tax dollars. Yeah, but it's my life and my body I put on the line. So I don't want to hear from you. Let me do the talking and let me do the correction. Let me get all of that done on the behalf of the country. Let me do it because, like I said, I'm qualified to. Like I said, lions do not respond to sheep. You can't come up to me, like I said earlier. You can't come up to me and say anything to me about getting involved in a shooting if you ain't never held a gun or been in a fight. I'm not hearing you. And because you never wore a uniform, I'm not listening to you. Like I said, we had an article from the Washington Post talking about VA disability being, frauded and ripped off. Then Matt Walsh, who I usually normally like because he's a conservative guy and works with Ben Shapiro, but he was going off on a politician that was getting 100% disability because he was still working. And I'm just like, man, and just listening to Matt Walsh talk about the VA 100% disability and how it's better suited for other people. I'm like, who are you to even call this guy out, bro? Like, did you serve it all? No, you didn't. You sit behind a microphone and make comments for a living. I sit behind that phone, a microphone too, and a camera. This is a hobby. My real job is in the streets. I've already put my body and life on the line for this country. I don't need Matt Walsh, Caleb Hammer, or anybody else saying what veterans do and don't deserve. You don't deserve to say anything to us because, like I said, you're not on the same level as us. You haven't put your skin in the game like we have. You're entitled to your opinion, absolutely. But I'm also entitled to tell you all to shut the hell up and back off. Let me talk to my fellow veterans and hold them accountable. It is not up to you all, man. It has nothing to do with you all. I hear it's your tax dollars, but like I said, it's our lives and our bodies been put on the line. So if anybody's going to make it right, it's going to be me and fellow veterans, man. Nobody else. We, like I said, this is not it's like when I'm telling jokes like Marine jokes or, Marines and all, like stupid, dumb Marines eating crowns. And they be like, oh, Army stands for aren't ready for the Marines yet. Then you got a civilian chop in. Yeah, the Marines are better. Army sucks. Like me and the Marine looking at the civilian like, what branch you serve in? Oh, I didn't serve. My dad was in. Shut your dumb. Who you talk like? Get out the room, bro. Nobody invited you into this conversation. This is a sibling rivalry. I can call my mom a hoe because it's my mom, but you call my mom a hoe, we gonna fight. But literally that's the mentality. That's what it is. Exactly what it is. You can't say nothing about my homeboys, but I can. because that's my homeboys. But unfortunately, like I said, there are a ton of these videos on TikTok, man, of soldiers. I mean, man, just out there, Marines, people getting out, just, hey, I'm a disabled 100% veteran. And, this is what I do all day for a living. And I don't do anything. And yeah, I'm never working again. I'll quit a job because I got 100%. And it's like having 100% is their entire personality. And I'm just like, man, that's a sad existence. I have 100%, but like I said, I still work because you know why? I need a purpose beyond just waiting for a paycheck on the first. And I'll be honest, having 100% is nice. It's the decent check, but it is not enough for the lifestyle I want to live, and it is not enough. It is not enough. It is not enough for the life I want to give my family and the legacy I want to live. I don't want my kids to see daddy on the couch. All they've ever known is dad on the couch waiting for a check, playing video games. What did dad do for a living? I was a disabled veteran. He got hurt in the war. Like, I served in the Army 3 years. There's no reason why myself or anybody that served like 3 to a couple years should let this small point of time be the rest of your existence. It's 3 years, man. I've been out for over, God bless, almost 19 years. And I've built a life outside of being a veteran. Like, I don't even wear the thank you for my, service hats and all that and operation. I can't do it, man. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I do got some bumper stickers on my car. That's just, like I said, that's in case I get pulled over, stopped by the police. Man, you can't give a ticket to a Purple Heart veteran, combat veteran. You just can't. You can, but you're a douche if you do, man. And so I hope that cops give me that benefit of the doubt when I get pulled over. That's my biggest hope. Why I do it? Yes, yeah. That's another level of protection for me. Okay, but like I said, it's just, man, but we don't do ourselves any favors in the veteran community, man. And I could just go down the list of videos I've seen of dudes just flexing, doing the whole money thing. They got the money on their arm, first of the month hit, baby, that VA check hit. I'm like, it makes me sick, but it makes me more sad than anything because I'm like, this is your entire existence. You spend all your money through the month, and then you're just waiting for this check on the first. And that's what you have to look forward to. And I'm like, that's not enough for me. That's not enough for me. Getting the check is nice. It's a little cherry on top. It's a little extra frosting on top of the cake. But man, dude, there's a reason why so many veterans kill themselves. And I tell people, I think it's because when you get out and you get a check, you don't have to do anything else. You have no purpose. What's your purpose every day? You have to have a purpose, man. And then this argument that it's free money. I'm like, it is not free money. I hate when people say it's free money. It is not free money. This is blood money, as I call it. I almost died for this money. I have friends that almost died for their money. But like I said, the thing is, people don't realize that. They see it as free money, but they don't see the sacrifice and the work that goes on behind the scenes. Like, they see these videos of soldiers flexing and dancing with their 100% disability ratings, but like I said, we don't know what that person's been through. I said, I'm going to judge them because I'm like, I'm infantry. I got blown up and almost died. Then you got some dude that's been in for like 6 months and breaks his toe on a PT run, and somehow this dude gets 100% disability rating. Yeah, I don't know. I can't judge, but I'm looking at you and I'm making assumptions though. Like I said, it don't seem right, but hey, it's not my job to say who gets what. If you got the documentation and you go through the VA process like everybody else did, and they say, hey, this guy deserves such and such percent, 100%, and they give it to you, I can't say nothing. But like I said, there are veterans who do take advantage of the system, and there is fraud within the VA. I don't know the level of fraud, but dude, you could just look at any sort of system. Heck, look what's going on in Minnesota with all the fraud with the government. Yeah, people taking billions of dollars from the government. And you know what? It happens in any system where there's something monetary that's given to people. People are going to take advantage of that system to get more money. And I've had fellow veterans come up to me and say, hey, bro, you hear about this VA disability, this VA benefit? I'm like, what is it? It's like a spousal support thing where, like, if you as a veteran are so messed up, that like you can't run your own life. Like, your spouse has to help you get ready for work and help you make your appointments because you keep forgetting stuff. They will pay your wife your spouse or your husband to take care of you. Yo, like they give you like a couple grand a month for that. Yo, and I had people telling me, yo, Dex, bro, you need to put in for it, bro. I'm telling you. And I'm sitting here like, bro, like my integrity, one, will not allow me to do such a thing because I know that, yeah, I do have a lot of problems. I forget a lot of stuff, yo, but I'm not about to sit here and make it seem like I'm so bad to the point to where I have to get my wife, where I have to have my wife do everything for me. I am not going to sit here and lie to the federal government and make it seem like I am so disabled and hurt that guess what? I can't even tie my shoes. I can't do it. I won't do it. I'm not going to take advantage of the system. And you know what's weird, man? When I talk about VA disability, before I get off, I want to say this, man. But when I first got my rating, my 100% rating, I felt so guilty and felt like I did not deserve it because like I said, I'm jacked up. I'm tore up, man. If you would ask me a couple years ago if I deserved it, I'd be like, nope, 80 is just fine. But as I've gotten older and my ailments gotten worse, I'm saying, yeah, I definitely need 100% because there's some days, bro. I mean, I have some days that are absolutely awful and horrific, and it's a lot of days. But people don't know that. People don't see that because I'm able to hide. I've gotten a pattern going, and I can kind of, deal with my stuff. But man, some days it's so freaking hard, dude. And so, man, I felt like I didn't deserve it. But I had a buddy tell me, bro, you got people that have been taking money from the government subsidies for years that ain't done nothing for this country. And you mean to tell me you're going to feel bad because you almost died and lost your left arm? You got nightmares and PTSD. I've been divorced twice. And as much as I want to blame it on them, which I could, I'm putting the ball in my court and say I was my own worst enemy during my first 2 marriages, man. Like having PTSD did not help me. And then I started drinking. That did not help me. I was a big part of the problem, man, because of everything that I endured in the military. And it transitioned to my civilian life, and it ruined a lot of stuff in my civilian life. And I had to look at me and say, I'm the problem here, bro. It's nobody else. As much as I have all the ammunition I can point at my ex-wives, but at the end of the day, I am the common denominator. I'm the common factor. And I was my own worst enemy. And I did not do the counseling and therapy that I needed to help me with those first 2 marriages, which is the difference now as to why I'm married longer now, going on 14 years, because I've done the counseling and put in the work. And guess what? It never ends. I've been talking to a VA counselor at the vet center for years. The amount of counseling I go through. So for me, yeah, but I feel like I do deserve what I'm getting. People might feel otherwise. And I know what? I don't really care how other people feel. Like I said, especially if you're a civilian, we don't care how you feel. If you're a veteran, I'll listen to you more than I listen to you to a civilian. But like I said, you don't know what I've been through. And I don't know what these other people been through. But like I said, if it looks suspicious, it looks suspicious. I'm just saying, man, I don't know. But man, I want to pull up this article because let me see if I can remember how to do this. Share my screen. It's been a minute, y'all. I'm sorry. But there's this article I found on, what was it? Right here. Well, it's just God bless. I'm sorry, y'all. It's like I said, it's been a minute. All righty. Share screen. There we go. All right. So I want to pull this up. Boom. Here we go. And so if you go to Google and put in veteran arrested for VA fraud, dude, you will come across a plethora of these freaking articles. I mean, there's so many articles that have come out over the years of veterans stealing. And I'm going to click on this one because I remember when this one came out last year and I was just like, yo, what the heck? And it was Haynes. Oh, really? Come on, boy. Come on, go back. Haines City police captain arrested for scheme to get fraudulent VA disability benefits. Gabriel Garcia's mother and uncle and his mother's husband were also arrested in connection with the same scheme. A Haines City police captain was arrested for defrauding the government to obtain VA disability benefits, according to the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. And I forgot how much he collected over the years, but he was one of 10 people charged in the scheme to obtain fraudulent benefits by claiming false medical conditions, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. They say these defendants exploited a program intended to assist veterans who are truly in need. Federal investigator said the multi-year scheme was led by two men, Angel Carrera Rivera and Richard Rivera. I can't pronounce that, man. But as is accused of identifying veterans who did not have 100% disability rating and offering to help them obtain the rating for a cash fee. And so I forgot how much he had over the years, man. There was a number, and it was like some crazy, crazy number. Where is it at? Here's and here was the Washington Post article I mentioned earlier. How some veterans exploit 193 billion VA program due to lax controls. Here's what I can tell you about the VA. The controls are definitely not laxed, but if you know the lingo and you know how to write things and do nexus letters, you can absolutely take advantage of it. And I can tell y'all now, you've been listening to this podcast. Your boy Dex, I was not smart enough to try to take advantage of the VA system. That's didn't happen, man. That's not that. No, I did hire an outside company to help me get my rating better, and I had to pay them, but they were a legit company, and I legit I felt I deserved a higher rating because, like I said, my sleep's getting worse, my ailments getting worse, everything's getting worse. And I tell people to this day, my biggest fear in life is the fear that I'm going to get to a point where I'm not going to be able to care for myself. And I can tell you for the last 4 months that I've been out for the shoulder surgery this is the longest I've ever been off, and I am absolutely miserable. I hate having to ask my wife and kids to do stuff for me the first couple months because I only had one good arm. It's freaking absolutely miserable, man. I just did not enjoy existing as such. And that is my biggest fear. and I'm slowly getting better, but I'm definitely ready to go back to work, man. And I'm just kind of over being at home, and I'm over all the hype with veterans, taking advantage of the system. I'm over civilians putting themselves in the places that they don't know what they're talking about. I'm over that. I'm over all this crap, man. Like I said, that's why I've just been kind of laying low from social media. And I'm just tired, dude. Like I said, I got a lot going on in my personal life. Just trying to recover and get to work. So much going on, man. And like I said, it's so much going on to the point to where I know I'm at a point to where if I don't step back and chill and kind of level out, I'm going to be my own worst enemy and mess up everything I got going. And I'm just not I've worked so hard to get to where I am, and I don't want to ruin anything that I have going. I'm in a good spot in life, man. I just want to keep enjoying it. But at the same time, I just feel it's necessary for me to get on here, do a simple, small podcast that only a few people listen to, a few people will hear. But I'm hoping that I can be the voice of reason for people. I'm hoping that I can help hold some people accountable. I'm hoping that people will hear me tell them to shut up and they'll listen and take my advice. Well, like I said, advice is what you pay for it. And this show's free. I'm not making money, so you can take it or leave it. And it's not really my problem, man. But I'm not going to sit here and let people trample on veterans, say what veterans do and don't deserve if you ain't never served. And at the same time, I'm going to be on here and talk about veterans and say, you look like damn fools on TikTok and social media bragging about being 100% disabled. It is a horrible look. It is in bad taste. And you are getting yourself unnecessary looks that you don't want. Because there have been instances of veterans getting on social media, running their mouths, posting videos of them in the gym looking strong and great, talking about my back's bad, but you're over here deadlifting 500 pounds. And then you get your disability rating yanked. So I don't want to hear you cry. I don't want to hear your tears. I don't want to hear nothing from you, man. Not a word. Not a word. Because you know why? You did it to yourself. You were your own worst enemy. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to close this one down and close this one out. I hope you all enjoyed the show. I hope you all took a lot from it, too. Like, there was a lot to get into. And, man, I got in as much as I could. And I'm coming in under an hour and a half. So, man, I really appreciate you all for tuning in. Like, if you can, go and comment on the video on YouTube. Like I said, I'm still trying to get back into this thing and get used to doing video, yada, yada, yada. So, y'all know the tune. Y'all know how it goes, man. I'm just trying I'm still figuring things out. But as always, I appreciate you all for tuning in. If you could rate the show for me on iTunes, leave a review, something. Say, somebody tell this idiot to shut up. Hey, I'll take it. Whatever, man. I do wish I had more engagement with the show, but I also understand that I've not been consistent with it, and that's okay. But I also understand that there's millions of podcasts out here, millions of them. So, hey, for those that do tune in, You are appreciated more than you could ever know. Thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate you. Like I said, be sure to share the show. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your grandpa, tell your family. Subscribe to the show, man. And I'm going to go ahead and call it, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And I don't know when I'll be back, but hopefully it's soon. Definitely soon. Like I said, I'm trying to get back to doing this more consistently. Like I said, I've missed being behind the microphone, regardless if it's one person or a million people that tune in. I just want people to know I exist and that there's somebody out here that's not crazy on the far left, crazy on the far right, but that there is a reasonable person out here in this space that's not just looking to make money and make a name for himself. I'm just looking to be reasonable, just be a bro. That's it, man. That's it. Like I said on my last one, I'm not trying to be a vet bro or a vet cop. I'm just here, man. I'm just doing my thing, putting my stuff out, and just hoping to meet other cool people in the process. Pretty simple, pretty simple. I appreciate you all. You all be safe out there that are snowed in. You all take care of each other, and I will see y'all on the next one.